Om. Om. Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We shall chant Bhaja Govindam verses 21 to 30. But we will start with the first verse, that is the chorus. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte San Nihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrin Karane. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jathare Shayanam, Iha Samsare, Bahudustare, Kripaya Pare, Pahi Murare. Rathyacarpata Virachita Kanthaha Punya Punyavi Varjita Panthaha Yogi Yogani Yojita Cheto Ramate Balon Matavadeva. Kastvam koham kuta ayataha kame janani kome tataha iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. Tvayi mayi chanya traiko vishnuhu vyartham kopyasi mayi yasahishnuhu bhava samachetaha sarvatra tvam vanchasya chira dhyadi vishnu tvam. Shatrau mitre putre bandhau ma kuru yatnam vigraha sandhau sarvasminnapi pashyatmanam sarvatrotsrija bhedajnanam. Kamam krodham lobham moham tyaktvatmanam pashyati soham atmajnanavi hina mudha te pachyante narakanigudha. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram Dhyeyam Shripati Rupamajasram Neyam Sajjana Sange Chetam Deyam Dinaja Naya Chavetam. Sukhata Kriyate Rama Bhogaha Paschadhantasha Rire Rogaha Yadhyapi loke maranam sharanam tadapi na munchati papacharanam. Arthamanartham bhavaya nityam nasti tata sukha lesha satyam putradapi dhana bhajam bhitihi sarvatraisha vihitaritihi. Pranayamam pratyaharam nityanityavi vekavicharam japya sametasa madhividhanam kurvavadhanam mahadhavadhanam. Guru charanam bhuja nirbhara bhaktaha samsaradhyachi radbhava muktaha sendriya manasa niyamadevam drakshasi nijahrida yastham devam. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate Samprapte san nihite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Last week, when we were doing the 22nd verse, the verse which read, the sage who wears a shawl made of street rags, who transcends the path of punya, apunya, merit and demerit, whose mind is well united to yoga. He says, such a man, ramate balon mattavadeva. He says that that person revels just like a child, just like a madman. And then I also extended the question by saying that in the Shastras, they compare a spiritual person to also a ghost, pishachavat. So a spiritual man is compared to be like a child, like a madman, like a ghost. Now it's very important, vat, balavat, unmattavat, pishachavat. If you take away that like, you will go about saying a spiritual man is a mad fellow, a spiritual man is a child, or you can go to the extent saying these people are ghosts. They are not real. They're all fake people. So please don't misunderstand that. So when you say these men are like, there are certain attributes. In fact, the methodology these people use to communicate this knowledge, one of the methodologies is known as upamana, through comparison. So when you take an example, there are only certain aspects of comparison. So just to quickly recap what was said, when they say you are like a child, a spiritual man is like a child, it only meant a child has no worries. Believe me, there could be things that were concerning few minutes ago. Now, please forgive us. Just before the session started, 2-3 minutes before, the people who are managing the platform, the power had gone. Power had gone. The main person, the backup person, both power had gone. And it all fell on me because I am the third backup to make sure that the streaming continues. And we didn't have, this is the first day we're using the platform on the foundation, and we didn't have settings with reference to doing a Facebook Live. There were a few technical glitches. Believe me, we had to trouble one of the students' daughters, Dikshita, to come out of her office meeting to help us to go to technical and ensure that this happens live. So you don't know what was happening 3-4 minutes before the class started. And I can choose to be worried of all that. Believe me or not, now it has happened, it is gone. I do not know what's happening. I see you all lovely people who are listening to me. I got to be this moment now. So a man of that nature, a spiritual character, doesn't worry of what happened, does not have the anxieties, what's to happen. He just lives in the present. We shall see whatever has to be seen. Now, can I request to ensure, I think, yeah, I was getting a feedback voice from someone. Okay. Can the host ensure that everybody is muted, please? All right. So perfect. So whenever, as I've said, there is a comparison, certain aspect, you can't go beyond the comparison, because when you go beyond, the purpose of an example it defeats the purpose. You get into absurd areas. So I don't want to get into the further aspects when you say a spiritual man is like a child. Then you say, oh, if you say a spiritual man is like a child, he also must be very naughty like a child. Then you're getting into trouble. Don't compare all those aspects. Okay, so there is only certain aspects of comparison. A child lives in the present. He has full of energy. When you're in the present, you're effervescing with joy. That is aspect comparable. A man with full of life, full of cheer. In fact, don't we say Krishna was full of fun, mischief, and frolic? Krishna also was full of mischief, isn't it? So, so here and there, if a spiritual man does some mischief, please forgive him. Huh? So don't take it literally. Huh? Don't take him personally. Secondly, then you say a spiritual man is also like a unmattavat, means a madman. Now, madman, you could be amongst a person who is mad, who is guaranteed declared mad. Now, undeclared mad people plenty are outside. I'm sorry to say that. But declared one who is a lunatic. Let's say you're visiting your uncle who is confirmed lunatic. And you have to go because you are person, you have that love for that man, your own uncle. So you want to go and visit him. So you go and visit him. In fact, don't believe, I got a strange call the other day from someone known to me. And she went on pleading me that I want some help. And I'm presenting it to you because perhaps you can help me. Her uncle, who was working with the BSF, and there was some situation that happened a few years ago, and he is mentally derailed. Poor person, a sane person, a normal man, became mentally derailed. He needs that attention, and he's positioned in Bangalore. And they are closing down because of the virus for a few months, and he is not married. He's a bachelor. He's 50 plus. Her uncle, and she's saying, our family is very concerned. We need to find a place where I can put him, where he can get the right attention, where he can get the treatment, where at times he gets into depression. He becomes very physical. It's difficult to manage. We can't bring him home. It's difficult. He needs to be in a facility. And she's going on pleading me, sir, can you please help me? I said, I'll try my best looking for people. If any one of you know a facility which has, that can accommodate him, it will be a great service to that lady. Please reach us through the numbers. You can, if you have any input, and it's no, finances is not a problem. He says, I can very much support, he can be supported. He just needs to be in a facility. So I'm just reminded of that. So I'm just putting my a request that came to me to you all, because I believe we're all one lovely family. So let's help each other to help that person. So imagine you're going to an asylum and talking to a person. He will be talking with you, and suddenly for a moment he switches off. He goes to a certain realm. He starts suddenly looking into thin air somewhere and very engrossed. And I'm talking to you, and suddenly imagine, let me turn my chair and start talking there. You wonder what is wrong with this person. I must be looking at you all, isn't it? But a madman just gets disconnected with you all. So he goes into a realm where you have no connection. Similarly, a spiritual man may be with you throughout, but there are times where he gets disconnected and gets into a certain realm on experience where you and I don't have access to. That is a comparison to a madman. And then there was a question, if you all recall, What is the aspect of comparison? You compare a spiritual person to a ghost. Now, just I hope you had a thought of it. If you have any contributions, please use the chat box to comment. But just to clarify it, so compare it with your understanding. There's nothing right and wrong, but it's just a thought. Now, the moment you talk of a ghost, what comes into your mind? Okay, let's connect that. The moment I say ghost or a place which is haunted, oh my God, it's a haunted place. There are ghosts. There are spirits that are moving. Okay, first of all, how many of you believe in ghosts? I can't believe. I tell you, I am reminded of an interview. Somebody came home. Oh, you believe in ghosts? Do you see them? Srimati Ma, you say you see ghosts, then how can you believe in them without seeing them? I don't know.
I feel them just like I believe in God without seeing him.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. Okay. I need to get some guidance from you. so I need to get some input from you, certainly. So, a lady came to me. She was known to my wife, and she came home, and she was on some psychological problem, and my wife said, can you please counsel her? Can you talk to her? I said, okay, if you know her, and if I can be of any help, why not? And then we were talking one-to-one, and she opened up her life, and suddenly she said, do you see that? For a moment, I got shocked because I had a little backdrop of her. She said, do you see that? See what? See that? I see it sitting next to you. We were just a few feet apart in a small, in a decent sized room. In fact, in my study area where we were sitting, and then see that? I said, see what? I got terrified, almost got up and left the room. She said, I see someone sitting next to you. Oh my God, my heart came into my mouth. And now I'm not here proving anyone right or wrong, but that lady started seeing things, and I got paranoid. I don't know what I spoke thereafter. Now, what I'm trying to get at is, if anything is a reality, it must be experienced by everyone, isn't it? And I look back very cautiously with great fear. I just look back hoping there's nothing there. And she said, look at that, look at that. I said, I've been living in this house 30 years. I've not seen anything. And you walk into my house 10 minutes ago and you said there's something there. I don't know who is true. Are you true or am I true? Am I blind or you're blind? I got into a paranoid thereafter. Now, this is what I'm saying. The moment you think of a ghost, there is a fear. Now, how do you connect that aspect to a spiritual man? When you are amongst people who live that very high spiritual standards, that highest standard of morality, ethics, values, they live a life of being utterly truthful to themselves. In fact, they become a symbol of righteousness, don't they? And when a person who is not to that level, who feels he's not being righteous or truthful, there is a certain fear within yourself. You feel uncomfortable in the presence of spiritual men because you are not being upright, you are not being correct, you're not being truthful, you're not leading a life of satyam. So such people feel a sense of bhaya, a fear in the presence of a spiritual person. Therefore, when they say a spiritual man is like a ghost, they say, when you go against your conscience, you fear the righteous people. And a spiritual man is one who upholds his conscience. So being righteous, so all what we got to understand is, when you lead a righteous life, when you're being true to yourself, you have nothing to fear, you have no one to fear. A few years ago, there was a lady officer in the cantonment board. I don't know her rank, but she was the big boss, who was there for a few years. She was positioned for 3-4 years. I don't know. What do you call her? What do you call her? That head, the municipality head. There you go. Mrs. Sujata, the CEO. I tell you, she was literally a terror in the lives of people. Everybody, the fact that I mention her, the people know the name. And some of you have heard of her, can resonate. It resonates well with you. Now, why did everyone fear her? Why did everybody fear her? Because everybody, they did something that was not right. They were on the wrong. The moment they were on the wrong, everybody feared that person who kept to the T. She was a lady of no nonsense. And everybody wanted her to be relocated, transferred somewhere else. And the moment she transferred, everybody celebrated. Can you imagine that? Why does it comfort you? Because you know you are on the wrong. You have done something illegal. You can't get things done, and no nonsense, nothing doing, no bribing. You will get into trouble if you go to bribe her. That kind of a no nonsense lady. So now you perhaps can relate to, when you are not on the right, you fear the righteous people. So the aspect of comparison of a pishachavat, a ghost, is you're not against your conscience. All right. So that was the question that was left. And this is the remark. So you please reconcile those and expand on your understanding. So the last we did get into was the 23rd verse, where he asks certain very, very pertinent questions. Kastvam koham kuta ayatah kame janani kome tatah. Who are you? Who am I? From where have I come? Who is my mother? Who is my father? What is the purpose of life? In short, he's asking, what is the purpose of life? If you allow me to ponder on that, it will consume perhaps the entire session today. If you're ready for it, I'm ready for it. Can I get a thumbs up from you all? Are you ready for it? It's a journey you would want to know. In fact, I'm glad. Nice to hear the thumbs up. See the thumbs up from you all. So the entire spiritual journey, if I may ask you all, what does the spiritual journey, how do you convey it? How can it be best conveyed? The entire spiritual journey, put it in perhaps in few words, not even in a sentence, in a few words. I would say the entire spiritual journey culminates into an understanding of the discovery of the I. It is the inquiry of who this I is. The entire journey is, the entire purpose of life, the entire spiritual journey boils down to the inquiry of the I. The innocuous first person singular pronoun I. Is that all, sir? Seems so innocuous that the entire gamut of spiritual exercise boils down to discovery of that one alphabet, first person singular pronoun I. Who am I? What am I? That is what he's saying. Do you know who you are? Who am I? Kaha aham. Nobody asked this question because nobody has answers for it. It actually drains spiritual practitioners. But a true spiritual practitioner is never tired of this inquiry into that I. Now, when you and I use the word I, you ask you, who are you? Oh, I am so-and-so. You ask me, who am I? You say, oh, I'm Vinay. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from India. What is your mother tongue? Oh, my mother tongue is Telugu, which I can't speak well. I'm sorry for that. No? Many people say, are you Telugu? That's the question they ask me. Oh, yes, my mother tongue is Telugu, but never mind. Then when you keep using the word I, what do? You say, I am a father. You say, I am a friend. I am a husband. I am a wife. I am a mother-in-law. I am a student. I am a guru. I am an Indian. I am a waker. I am sleeping. I am talking. I am listening. I am happy. I am miserable. I am depressed. I am an engineer. I'm a managing director. All these I you've been using. Don't you use the I throughout your day? Don't you use I throughout your life? And yet, the sad part is you do not know who I am. Because I can't be all these changing factors, isn't it? Who are you? When I say I am the father, I am the son, I am the guru, I am the teacher, I am an Indian, I am a manager and director, I am a servant, I am this and that. You can't be all. What are you? So when we use the word I, we are actually qualifying the word I, aren't we? In the process of qualifying it, we are distorting it, we are destroying it. You must understand the word I, when you and I use through the course of our life, we are constantly distorting it. We are actually destroying it. We don't know, we are not able to capture the pure essence of I. So we do not know what that relationship of you is with that I. So what we call that in spiritual terms, that we are going about doing the conditioned consciousness. We are conditioning the pure consciousness. It's conditioning. It's like I have a tumbler of pure water, colorless water, but I diluted, I adulterated with something else. Not even diluted, adulterated. I put what? I mix it up with a rose syrup, an orange syrup. What is Coca-Cola? Adulterated water, is it not? It's not pure water, adulterated water. Similarly, we're all in ignorance of who I am. And we do not know what is our relationship with the world, because we do not know who we are. Therefore, we do not know what is our relationship with the world. So nobody asks these questions. There's a beautiful story I read in a book the other day. There was a drama troupe which was going to enact 10 different dramas in the same stage. The same troupe were enacting 10 different plays of Shakespearean for 10 different days. And the main key actors were the same. In fact, all the actors were the same, but the key players were the same. So the first day, they played the Merchant of Venice. The second day, they played the 12th Night. The third day, they played Hamlet. The fourth day, they played King Lear. The fifth day, there was Othello, and so on. 10 days, 10 different plays of Shakespeare. Now, these two man and woman, on the first day, they played the role of husband and wife in the Merchant of Venice. Day two, they played the 12th night, they became brother and sister. The third night, when they played Hamlet, they became sister and mother. Son and mother. And when they played King Lear, they became the father and daughter. So came a husband, wife, one role. The second day was brother, sister, son, mother, father, daughter. End of 10 day, after the 10th day, they were so confused, they don't know who they were. They did not know what relationship they had with each other. Are they son and mother? Are they husband, wife? Are they brother, sister? They did not know. It was total confusion, because the same people playing took to the same stage, perhaps the same interested audience, but playing different roles. At the end of the day, they did not know who they were. So we are in life. We also have taken to the stage of life playing multifold roles. In the process of playing all these roles, we do not know who we are. We have got ourselves lost, got attached. And one who realizes that he has lost his identity and doesn't know who he is, such a person is a person of spiritual inquiry. He inquires into the truth. Therefore, the second half of the verse, which we did not get into, iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram. I hope you have You're all with me. I have you all with me. Huh? You're following? You all follow the line of thought? Hope you're not lost with the play yet. Huh? Don't be still with the play. Inquire your roles. Therefore, he says, iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. The second half of the verse I didn't get into, and this is where I'm drawing a connection, a parallel. He says, thus inquire, having renounced the entire world as essenceless, asaram. This, in essence, is perhaps the most quintessential aspect of a spiritual aspirant. The quintessential aspect of a spiritual man's approach to the world is he sees the entire world as asaram, essenceless. And that is the most essential, quintessential perception a sadhak must have. You and I, what perception we must have? That the entire world is essenceless. How do we say essenceless? Born of your mere imagination. Now, if you follow what I've said thus far, none of us realize who we are. We are playing multifold roles. We don't have that clarity of perception. We don't know what is our purpose of life. We are lost. So he says, inquire. How do you inquire? Start by dismissing the entire world as essenceless, a mere projection, a mere dream, a meaningless, substanceless creation. So why does he say that the world is essenceless? Can anyone tell me this? Seetharamanji, why is Adi Shankaracharya telling it so powerfully to look at the world as the entire world is essenceless? What is the purpose? Any idea? Why is he saying that?
It's a dream. Because we are the self. World is a pure imagination.
The world is a pure imagination. The self is real. But why is he saying that the world is essenceless?
Because it is not real. World is not a reality.
Correct. The world is not a reality. Also because you have got yourselves terribly stuck and involved and caught up in that world. Perfect, Harishji. To shake us out of our involvement and attachment to the world. Correct, Seetharamanji. It's a mere dream, and you're caught up in the dream. So you don't know what is the reality. You have made a dream a reality. So just to wake us up, he just shakes us up and say, come on, man. Do you realize you're caught up in a mere dream? Oh, is it, sir? I haven't realized it. I don't realize it. I'm just caught up in a dream. It gives you a jolt. If you truly examine that statement, it does give you a jolt. Oh my God, all the problems, all my life I'm complaining about, all the issues I have with my life is all in the dream. It's just a mere dream. There is no reality in it. Oh my God, what am I? Then immediately you'll say, what am I doing here? What are we doing? Then it starts the process of inquiry. You start thinking. Otherwise you say, oh, I had a wonderful life. I have done wonderfully well in my profession. I've brought up my children very well. I have my grandchildren. I have a wonderful home. They're all well settled. They're all doing well. I have many, many things going all my way. But end of the day, what is it? You've got stuck and attached to everything that you're doing. You don't realize that you're attached to it. In the process, as we learned a little earlier in the other sessions, when you're attached to something, you don't see anything beyond it. You don't understand what's the purpose of life. It's almost, what do you do when you get into a flight? You want to get to rest. You don't want to be entertained by all that's happening around you or disturbed. You don't want to receive the service of the the flight services. You don't want any drinks or meal. You say, I don't want to disturb. So you just put your blinders, you call them, isn't it? You put on the blinders and you say you knock off because you had a long day and you want to just catch some rest. Exactly, that's what happens when you are attached to something. You're just blindfolding yourself. You don't see anything beyond that. You don't see anything other than that. Now, how do you establish that the world is born of your imagination? Now, there's a beautiful example. You think along with me the analogy. The analogy is based on this statement. The statement, please write down the statement. The statement is, the world is a projection of your mind. My world is a projection of my mind. I'll establish that very clearly with the example. Now, when you go to the theater, since we're talking of projection, let's all go to the theater. I know it's been 4 or 5 months you haven't gone to the theater. So let me give you that experience of going to a theater now. Imagine you go into a theater which has got what? First thing you notice? Dolby sound. Friendly sound comes from everywhere. Suddenly it comes. I remember going to I remember we went to Hong Kong many years ago, and we went Disneyland. And because we went with few kids and we went Disneyland, and it was what movie? I don't know, not even 3D, it's 4D, I think so. 4D or 5D, what D, I don't know, some D was there. And we sat in the seats, and suddenly I could experience, what is it? Some kind of air coming from the seats also, you know? And the seats were rolling, a huge theater. And suddenly something coming there, I could hear sound from it. I thought, I just almost looked down. Where's something coming from? I thought something is coming from under the seat. I got paranoid as an adult. I don't know what about kids. So that is experience of a theater. I can't forget it. Now, when you go to a theater, you go to a theater to get lost in it, isn't it? You can be having a lot of worries. You could have a fight with your spouse. You can have a very miserable time. You're frustrated, you're agitated. You just want to enjoy. So theater experience is a sort of a stress buster. So you go into a theater and you just sit back, you relax, put your head back, and you want to enjoy the show because you've done a survey that the movie is good. It doesn't matter if the movie is good or not. You just want to have a change. You go to a theater. Now, when you go to a theater, what do you see? There is a screen. The screen, and then there is there's a projection that's happening. There is a film that's running. And then there is a projection on the screen, the movie, and then you get involved. Don't you? And whenever there is a blockbuster movie, you see, oh my God, the kind of euphoria people get into, Rajinikanth is coming. Or what? Who is your favorite actor? Sylvester Stallone, Rocky or Rocker. I don't know what is it. Rock or Stone. Something is coming. You get excited. So what happens? You have got lost on the happenings of the screen. No. If I get into Plato's allegory of the cave, then I'm gone into a different direction altogether. It's a beautiful. I know what you're talking about. But the concept of the coming back to the thing is the screen before the projection. What is the color of the screen? Pure milk white. And then the same theater, you find the morning show is a comedy, afternoon show is a tragedy, evening show is an action movie, night show is a horror. Same theater, 4 different shows. All depends on the projector is the same, the light in the projection is the same, the screen is the same, yet the projection is different. Morning is what do I say? You remember the order? What is the morning? That's how I know whether you people are following or not. Huh? Hari garu cheppandi. Solunga sir, Hari. Mute your microphone, unmute it and tell me what is the order I told. What is the first? No, don't say you don't know. Who can tell me what is the order I said? First is, okay, Jai Shri Ma, please tell Jai Shri Prabhu Ma, Solungo. But you have to unmute yourself Ma first.
Comedy.
First is comedy, second
Tragedy.
second tragedy. Yeah, sorry, comedy and tragedy. Okay, apro.
Action.
Action.
Oh wow, Annapurnama Selingla. Action.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, please, most welcome.
Out
most
of
welcome.
turn.
No, most welcome. Action. Fourth is
Horror.
horror. So from comedy to tragedy to action to horror. Now, what am I comparing? No, don't get lost. I know we all have not seen movies for a while, but don't lose that we are in a Bhaja Govindam class. Huh? So what all is going on in the Bhaja Govindam class? Now, what is the comparison? Now, please try to fit in the comparative aspects. The light in the projector is neutral light. The light in the projector is the Atman. The projector is the mind. The light in the projector is the Atman, which is neutral. The projector is the mind. The film that runs in the 4 different shows is the, what is that? The film that runs in the projector is the, what is that? That is that which makes a difference between the comedy and the tragedy and the action and the horror, isn't it? Impressions of your mind. Indra Verma Garu is saying, Indrama, impressions of your mind. Sham says experience. Experience is what you see on the screen. I'm asking, what is the film in the projector? Perfect, Sudhakar Garu. It is the thoughts, the various thoughts in your mind.
Emotions also.
Yeah, it is your thoughts and emotions. Yes. So that's what that is contained in your mind. So your thoughts and emotions is the film, and that's what is being projected onto that 100 mm screen. You want to go and see, what do you call those huge screens? What do you call them? IMAX, huh? It is not near 35 mm. What screen? What do you call them? 35 mm? Not even
Digital Dolby.
Digital Dolby. I started when I entered the theater. You're very out.
70
You're somewhere. You're back, Subha. When you enter the theater, starts with Dolby. That I started with that. No, you forgot that.
Large screen.
Large screen. You get that IMAX experience, isn't it? And thereafter, what happens in the theater? You get lost. You get involved. You get carried away with the show, and yet, during those 2-3 hours, you don't realize it is just a mere imagination. There is no reality. There is no substance. It is actually essenceless. Does one realize it? No, we don't realize it. We just get carried away by the projection. Exactly the same thing is happening in our lives. Now you come back to that phrase I said, the world is a projection of your mind. So whatever thoughts you entertain in your mind, so is the world. So our experiences are different, not because the world is different, because of your own mind. You change the pattern of your thoughts, you change the nature of your emotions, instantly the world you experience changes. It's not that the person is bad, it is your perception that is bad. It is not that the world is wrong, it is your perception of the world that is wrong. And all the change has to happen within. And there can't be a more powerful analogy that can convey this truth. You're trying to change the screen. There's nothing wrong with the screen. The screen is neutral, pure white, milky white. But you're projecting either a tragedy or a comedy or an action or a horror. It is all in your mind. You don't realize that. Do you realize that? You don't realize that. You believe it's all outside. It is not outside. The world is a projection of your mind. Change your mind, change your thoughts, the world changes. And what is the perception these masters are wanting us to entertain? Understand the entire world is a senseless, a mere dream born of your imagination. If any one of us are anywhere near that substantial perception, it's a very strong vision, it's a very strong thought. If you have that, it immunes you from getting involved, getting attached. And you may ask me, sir, what happens if I'm attached? Why are the scriptures against me getting attached to my loved things? I love my family, I'm attached to my family. What is your problem? I love my car, I'm attached to my car. What is your problem? I love my job, I'm attached to my job. What the hell is your problem? What have you got against it? So can you get clarity? Can somebody tell me what happens if you're attached? Why are they against attachment? Why are the scriptures telling us to live a life of detachment? Why? You may be gathering by now, this fellow seems to be having more questions than answers. Every second statement he asks a question. Forgive me for that. This is a very unique approach I'm taking to educate you. It is very easy to run through the subject matter without conveying the message. But by questioning, I'm making you think. It is not challenging your understanding. It is just to make you think along with me. I'm taking you along with me. It's a very time-consuming but very, very impactful methodology. Please understand it. Then you will know why it's happening. So the question I'm asking is, what's the question?
Why do you get attached?
The question is not why do you get attached. The question is, what is wrong with attachment? What happens if you're attached? What happens if I get attached? Yes.
It leads to disappointment, despair.
It leads to disappointment, despair. How does it lead to disappointment, despair?
You expect something, it doesn't happen, it leads to disappointment.
Yes, very true. When you expect, attachment is sort of an expectation. You're right. Wonderful comments are coming. Harigaru is saying, the question, attachment leads to sorrow when you lose it. Yes, attachment. Ushama is saying, Vijay Kumar, attachment brings fear of losing, expectations, attachment, uncomfortable in all situations. Sai is still with the movie. Yes, Sai, please, the movie is finished. Come out of the theater. You're still lingering in the theater only. It's the problem, you see. So it leads to misery. So what attachment does is, when you develop an attachment to anything or being, it could be anything or being. Remember, another philosophical synonym for attachment is sorrow or misery. Whatever you're attached to in life, you go through excruciating pain, mental trauma. It causes considerable agony. If a mother is attached to the child, it happened, one such case of a mother was so attached to the daughter was appearing for a common entrance exam. And just before, on that day, she was going out for the exams. That early morning, she was sitting with her in the kitchen. She was attending to the kitchen work. She was cutting some vegetables, and she was asking the daughter how well she's prepared for the exams. And it's a major exam she's sitting through, and enough effort had been put in. And she asked the first question, she fumbled. She didn't have an answer. Mother said, never mind. Okay, let's another question. She asked another question. She faltered. The third question she asked, she gave a wrong answer. By then, the mother was getting furious within. The fourth question she asked, she did not answer for a minute or two. She took that kitchen knife in her hand, stabbed her daughter to death. The next few minutes later, she was in a pool of blood. It was splashed in the paper's headlines because the mother confessed that she was overpowered with emotion and she couldn't handle the fact that her daughter was not well prepared for the exams. Expectation, attachment, and in fact, attachment creates great, not only sorrow and suffering, you go to an extent where you lose what you attach to. If you attach to your job, you lose your job. It is a law of life, and please don't be angry at me. In fact, the next verse also Adi Shankaracharya says same thing. Don't be angry, don't be impatient, he says. But I'm only taking 1/2 of it. I'm only speaking the truth. So coming back to the thought you must entertain is understand that the world is essenceless, a mere imagination. Are you able to build a thought around what I'm trying to build? Are you able to relate to it? The whole objective of developing this attitude of detachment is so that you understand who you are, so that you don't get caught up in the roles that you're playing. Remember, all the world is a stage. All men and women are mere players. So play your role with a spirit of detachment. Don't get caught up in the roles you're playing. It is just a role. It is just you're getting caught up in your own projection, your own imagination, in your own thoughts. Change the pattern of your thoughts, the world changes. Inculcate healthy thoughts, the world becomes healthy. A music thoughts, music mind, music world. A philosophic thought, philosophical mind, philosophical world. A grumbling thought, a grumbling mind, grumbling world. Whenever I visit a person, every time I come back very dejected, because he, from the very beginning to the end, is only one long chant of complain, 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 complain. From the time I walk into his clinic till the time I leave the clinic, it is only complaint. I said, my God, what is this man? And it's all going very well, but yet he chooses to be negative perception to life. There are more than one person I can think of as I say this. So it's all your mind. Now, if you're ready for it, shall I extend the thought? Now, whether it is this way or this way. If you this way, I'll go to verse 24. If you this way, I'll continue. I don't see any thumbs up. Perfect. Right. Now, just to explain further on the concept that the world is essenceless, it says just a dream born of your imagination. A human being, this is something you should know, I should know, just helps us to understand this or decode this. Every human being goes through 3 states of consciousness. 3 states. Whether you know it or not, you have been going through from childhood. So better, please be informed. Please find out and know about it. 3 states of consciousness. So what are the 3 states of consciousness you have been going through from birth? Harigaru, you can unmute yourself and speak. It will be wonderful to hear from you all. My God, you people are Brahaspatis. You all are well informed. You have all the facts with you. Perfect. It makes it easy. The 3 states of consciousness a human being goes through is the waking state of consciousness, which you are supposed to be now. I do not know. Some of you I don't see. So you may conveniently be slipping off into the dream state. But those of you I see, so far so good, you are still awake. If I carry on a little longer than the scheduled time, I will easily transport you to the dream state. So the challenge for me is not to transport you to the next state and to keep you in the state. That is a very difficult task I have got, because subject matter is not easy. See, if you read the subject matter, it's not what they are saying, is how to convey what they are saying. What they are saying is very, very fantastic. Okay, so the first state of consciousness is the waking state of consciousness when you are a waker. And when you slip from the waking state and you go into the dream later, when you sleep tonight, you go into two different experiences. When you go to sleep, you can either go into a state of a dream state of consciousness, where you become the dreamer, or a deep sleep state of consciousness, where you are the deep sleeper, where there are no dreams. So the three experiences are distinct and different worlds that you experience. The three different worlds, and Vedanta heavily relies on the experiences of the dream and deep sleep. The Western school of thought doesn't take that much into account the experience of the dream, but Vedanta thrives. They give you the essential edge. They have an edge over other schools of thought because they harp on the dream, and this is where the concept is. So the three states of consciousness: waking state of consciousness, the dream state, and the deep sleep state, which you and I understand. What are they? Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti, isn't it? Three states. Now, but when some of us have read the Shastras, I know you all are well read and well informed. When you read the Shastras, what do they say? What do they say? Not Satchitananda. Satchitananda is again the same thing of another way of explaining how the consciousness permeates. That's another concept. The consciousness permeates existence, knowledge, bliss. Satchit Ananda, Satchit Sukham. Yes. But when you read the Shastras, what do they say? Sudhakar Garu, yes, wake up to the reality.
We are neither waking sleep, deep sleep, or the dreamer.
Oh my God. I just now I said Gayatri Ma that we go through three states of consciousness: waking, dream, deep sleep. And you have completely dismissed everything that I've said so far. You are neither the waker, nor the dreamer, nor the deep sleeper. Please permanently mute Gayatri's microphone. She seems to be opposing me head on. You're right. This is what the Shastras say. Something more interesting the Shastras say. You're very right, Ma. Okay. Hariji is saying from the knower and the known. Okay. Sethraman says the fourth state, the Turiya. Even Hariji is saying, yes, we are all in bliss in deep sleep. I hope not now. Who is this Lakshmi? Please show yourself. I hope you are not in deep sleep now. I pray to the Lord that you are not gone into deep sleep now. You know, later on, when you go to sleep in an hour or two or three, you should get into deep sleep. Deep sleep is a sound sleep. When you get into that state, oh my God, you can have a half an hour sleep. It is so refreshing. Now, when you get into the Shastras, very, very beautiful, a very subtle observation is in the scriptures, they say there are only two states. Here we are saying there are three states and they say there are only two states. So it's a direct contradiction to our understanding. And in the scriptures, they say there's only Swapna and Sushupti. They don't say there's Jagrata. And you know why? Why is it that they say there is only Swapna and Sushupti? Yes, sir. Sethraman Garu, Cheppandi.
Whole world is a reality.
Jagruti is the sort of turiya. That is
Self-realized.
that is the third state where you are awake. You are with the self.
Then what are the two states?
This other
Swapna,
Swapna and Surya, the
Swapna.
Swapna and Sutapti are the only two states.
Then what are then?
What
But
is
we know
Swapna?
3 states. They are saying 2 states. What is the
Yeah.
contradiction here? So how did 3 become 2?
Wakefulness is not there in this.
Correct. Wakeful is not.
Yeah.
What happened to the wakeful state is the question.
Hmm.
The actual wakeful state, they are calling it as Swapna state.
Which is actual wakeful state?
Now what we are experiencing,
Correct.
that is they are calling it as a
We are
dream
in
state.
imagination. We are-
Setraman Garu, please listen to Vasantama. Please listen to your wife. Huh? All the while you are not listening to, at least now listen to her. The 3 states we talk of: waking, dream, deep sleep. From their point of view, the waking and dream are actually dream. They don't give any more credibility to the waking state. For them, the waking world also is just another dream. And that is what they are trying to tell us. Please understand that the entire world is a born of your imagination. It's just an imagination. There is no reality in it. Oh, my business must flourish, or my business is going through terrible laws and you're going through a terrible state. Man, it is your imagination. Man. Why are you getting worried and traumatic and traumatized by your only projection? There is no ghost. It's only a, as I say, it's a post. You're seeing a post and you're seeing a ghost. You're seeing a rope and you're seeing a snake. There is no snake. There's only a rope there. It's your imagination. It's a delusion. It's your illusion. There is no reality in it. I can go on, but I will leave it at that. Let's let that thought rest at it. Only by dismissing the credibility of the world that you're depending on, dismiss it. There is no credibility to the world that you're experiencing. They're saying the world is just another dream. Dismiss it so that you can play your role well, so that you don't get caught up in it and realize and understand the purpose of life. Let's chant this verse once and then we'll just get into the 24th verse. Let's make sure that we don't forget this verse. Kastvam koham kuta ayataha kame janani kome tataha iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. 24. Tvayi mai chanya traiko vishnuhu vyartham kopyasi maya sahishnuhu bhavasamachitaha sarvatra tvam vanchasya chira dhyadi vishnu tvam. Once again. Tvayi mai chanya traiko vishnuhu vyartham kopyasi maya sahishnuhu bhavasamachittaha sarvatra tvam vanchasya chira dhyadi vishnu tvam. Now here he says the translation. Let me read the translation and I'll explain. Tvayi means in you, mai means in me, in you, in me, and elsewhere, anyatra. Elsewhere pervades the one reality, Vishnu. Being impatient, you are angry with me and in vain. Vyartham. Vyartham means in vain. Kupyasi, you are angry with me. Asahishnu, you are impatient. And then he says, Bhava samachittaha sarvatratvam. Become samachittaha, become equanimous. Make your mind equanimous, sarvatratvam, at all times. If you even want to stand a chance to attain the Lordship of Vishnu. You want to attain Vishnu, you want to attain that state of realization, you want to attain that status of moksha, you want to get to that state of totality, to Godhood, make your mind equanimous. So as you would note, every verse has got a title. So the title for this verse is The All Pervading Reality. Now, I will not get into the details of the verse. I'll come back next week. But what you must try to make sense is, why is he saying that you are impatient and you're angry? When does one become impatient and when does one become angry? Why is he saying that you are impatient and getting angry? It's interesting. It's just a psychological thought. When you look at it, you understand why is he saying that. Why is he saying you're becoming impatient and angry? Any thoughts? When your expectations are not met, you're still holding on to the expectations. Sai says when you need quick results. Venkateshwar Garu says when desires are not fulfilled.
And there is no clarity, Guruji.
No clarity. What I'm seeking answers from you all is some clarity.
When we don't see the self in others.
Tinkima is saying when you don't see the
Self in others.
When you don't see the self in others, and yet you know that the self is there in others, isn't it?
Yes.
Perfect. You hit the nail on the head. Now, this is the difference between information and wisdom. A person who is informed of the truth is that God is all pervading. The essence of everything is that reality. The Brahman or Atman is everywhere. So here he says, in you, in me, everywhere pervades the all pervading Vishnu. Isn't it? In you, in me, there is that Vishnu. So when he says that, he must have seen some reaction in the students where they become impatient. Because you say, "Arey, come on, I know that man. Why are you telling something which I know?" Now, I have experienced this in the little journey of my life. I've had students, I have cautioned, and you all being students of the subject, I will caution you all. I remember telling this to quite a few students. In fact, I keep telling in my classes as I'm telling now. There is an end to Jnanam. There is a certain end to Jnanam, which is information. So if you keep hearing me for a while, you will find there is a certain repetition. You understand the concept, you'll know. After a while, you get very bored. Don't you? Wouldn't you? It's natural, isn't it? You become impatient. Come on, man, he's saying the same thing again and again. There's nothing new. There's no variety. You become impatient and angry because as intellectual students, you all want variety. You want to be entertained at the intellectual level. You want concepts and ideas, anecdotes, stories. You want masala. You want spice. You want it to grip your attention. And if you don't see that, you get... I know people suggest me, my students lovingly suggest me and say, "Guruji, you must read that book. That book has got a lot of stories." Lovingly, they tell me. That commentary, that person speaks very well. You must bring a little more humor. You're very serious, you know. You must bring a little humor. Some says you must read stories. Somebody says you must learn, crack little jokes. Somebody says you please teach some philosophy. So I get a lot of advice from my students. So I listen to everyone. Now, remember what I'm saying. There is always an end to knowledge, but there is no end to wisdom. The end of wisdom is self-realization. It's a long road to get there. Therefore, I say there is no end to it. Relatively, there is no end. How many janmas we have to go through to get there, I do not know. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So hopefully this will be our last, but it's a long way. In fact, somebody today messaged me. Guruji, looks like it's a long road, long journey, sir. But anyway, thanks for your support, thanks for your motivation. But I realize it's a long journey for me. So, Vijnanam, there is no end. Jnanam, there is an end. And I remember telling this to my students back in Hyderabad when I first started lecturing in 95. I had a family, husband, wife, both used to come. And after the classes, the center got established, I used to take 10 to 12 classes a week. And I used to see them every class, almost 8-9 classes in a week they used to come. And every other day I'm seeing them. I saw that for a couple of weeks and then I called them and said, I can't remember their name, but I remember very well where they stay and thing, and been to their home as well. Very lovely family. I called them and said exactly the same thing. You're following me like my shadow. You're most welcome. But remember, you will get very soon bored and tired with the knowledge. And they didn't heed me. It inevitably happened after a course of few months, they stopped coming. Not because they followed me, only because they did not do what I told them to do. So you are getting impatient and bored and you get angry is because you're not able to relate to the knowledge. What you are doing is just Shravana. You're just receiving knowledge. You're just leaving knowledge as it is. You're not doing what is the most essential spiritual exercise, which is reflection, which is manana. I always tell the percentage of knowledge and reflection is 30% knowledge, 70% reflection you must do. So that's the reason you only have twice a week classes, which is put all, you get close to 3 hours of listening, or even just 2.5 hours, 1 hour 15 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes, 2.5 hours knowledge, and you got the whole week to reflect on it, think about it, deliberate on it, read about it, ponder, digest, experiment, make it your own, and come back, there's fresh knowledge. This imbalance is the real thing that's causing all problems in life today. I've just crossed 7:15, but I'll just give you a quick case study. I've had a few people calling me in the course of last week. More than 2 people call me and they were telling, Guruji, I'm going through a lot of mental restlessness, depression. I'm not able to calm my mind. And yet they say, I get up in the morning, I do my chanting, I do meditation, I do this, I do that, I do my reading. In spite of it, my mind is not under control. It's like you go to a doctor and say, doctor, I'm taking all the medication you're told, but still there these pains are coming, I have these problems, I have this. What will doctor say? Something is not right with the combination. Something is not right with the medicine, isn't it? If you are doing, the interesting pun is they claim to be doing everything that is out there they have been doing. Still the mind is not conquered. Still the mind is not equanimous. So something is not right with the practices. And my humble observation, what the Shastra is saying is this proportion is wrong. The proportion of reflection to knowledge. So the contemplation is a must. If you don't contemplate on knowledge, it just remains as information. It's like, I understand, I know what is love, but I have no experience of love. There's a world of difference in knowing what love is vis-a-vis experiencing what is love. So when you do that, it's a total transformation. Therefore, he says, in vain you're angry with me, be patient, render your mind equanimous, and then you will attain Vishnu. I'll come back to the second half of the verse next week. Try to log in early, listen to the bhajans, and we shall sharp start 6 o'clock. See you all next Wednesday for the Bhaja. But if you are happy to join, you are welcome to join us the next Sunday, which is the Gita classes. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om.